me. And we are going to be talking to you today about the contemplation stage of change in recovery. All right, first thing that we're going to talk about inside the contemplation stage of recovery. This is when the person knows that a problem exists and is seriously thinking about change. We kind of have a yes, but attitude. They're thinking, I know I should change, but I really don't know if I'm ready. And with all the stress in my life, I'm not really sure if I can. The person kind of realizes that there is a problem, but they haven't decided yet whether or not they're ready to do something about it. An example of this in real time or real life might be a client kind of saying something along the lines of, I know my drinking is causing problems with my family and work, but it also helps me deal with stress. I should change, but I'm not sure I'm ready. In that example that I just used, there is a genuine internal conflict happening. It's not laziness, it's not denial. The person is struggling between staying the same and making a change. Let's see this next slide. Moving from contemplation to preparation. There are 4 developmental tasks that tip a person towards commitment and plan. First would be to resolve ambivalence. They work through mixed feelings about changing. The person starts seeing more reasons to change than to stay the same. Then 2, building self-efficacy or building self-confidence. The person starts believing that they can actually succeed. They feel more capable of handling challenges and temptations. Then there's 3, engaging in change process. This is increased motivation. They learn more about the problem and think about how it affects their life. This strengthens their desire to change. And then 4, making a plan. They move beyond just thinking about change. They start deciding what specific steps they'll take. And then we go here to the role of ambivalence, simultaneously wanting to change and then also not wanting to change. That's exactly what ambivalence is, wanting to change and not wanting to change. 2 conflicting ideas at the same time. For example, a person wants to stop drinking because it's hurting their family and their health. But also they don't want to stop because alcohol helps them relax or socialize. Maybe it helps them avoid stress. So they are pulled in 2 different directions at the same time. This conflict is normal. It doesn't mean that the person is stubborn or resistant or in denial. The goal is to help the person sort through the pros and the cons until they are ready to commit to change. Several ways to do this. Helping the client move towards change talk instead of sustains talk would be one way. Motivational interviewing that we're kind of learning about. Also, another way to do this. Ambivalence is being stuck between I want to change and I don't want to change, and it's part of the process. It's normal. Decisional balance, shifting towards change. We're talking about the cons of changing and the pros of changing. Let's see, thinking about this like a mental scale. On one side, reasons to keep doing what you're doing. It's familiar, it feels good, it helps with stress, and changing seems hard and scary. On the other side, possibly better health, better relationships, more freedom, feeling better about yourself could potentially be a reason. People usually move towards change when the benefits of changing start feeling bigger than the benefits of staying the same. This is called the shift or the crossover. Real life examples, potentially, we might think of Somebody who maybe wants to quit smoking. Cons or reasons not to quit might be it helps me relax. I've done it for years. Quitting sounds difficult. Pros, reasons to quit might be better health. I'll save money. I might potentially be around longer for myself or my family. Again, as the pros of change increase and the cons decrease, the balance tips and that person moves from contemplation into preparation. Distinguishing the phases, the 4 phases of treatment. You have phase 1, treatment initiation. Getting started, the person stops using or begins treatment. They may still be unsure if they really want to change. Doubts and second thoughts are common. This can last days and weeks. Detox is also a part of this phase. Then you go into phase 2, early abstinence, typically around 1 to 3 months. The person learns how to handle cravings, stress, and triggers without going back to old habits. They're building new coping skills at this stage or phase. Then there's phase 3, maintaining abstinence, typically 3 months to 5 years. You're maintaining recovery. The focus shifts to creating healthier lifestyles. The person works on preventing relapse and rebuilding relationships and routines, also building community and healthy family support systems. And then phase 4, advanced recovery. Recovery becomes part of everyday life. Staying sober or maintaining change feels more natural and requires less daily struggle. Recovery is a journey with different stages, and each stage has its own challenges and goals. I'm going to turn it over.
So now we're going to go to how the phases map to the stages of change. So the treatment phases line up with the stages of change. During contemplation and preparation, people are deciding they're ready for change. In the action stage, they're making changes. And in maintenance, they're working to keep those changes going and prevent relapse. So you've got treatment initiation, which is contemplation and preparation. Then we've got early abstinence, which is action. We've got maintaining abstinence, which is the maintenance, and advanced recovery is maintenance and termination. And then we've got what contemplation teaches us about change. So the biggest takeaway is that knowing there's a problem doesn't automatically mean that someone is ready to change. Mixed feelings are normal and change takes time. As the reasons to change become stronger than the reasons to stay the same, people become more ready to move forward. Recovery isn't always a straight line and setbacks can happen, but they're part of the process. So knowing you have a problem isn't the same as being ready to change. A person may recognize that something is hurting them, but they may still not be ready to take action. So mixed feelings are normal. It's common to want to change and resist change, but this doesn't mean you're failing. People move toward change when the benefits become more important than the drawbacks. And like I said, change is a process, but not a single event. So for our case study, we have Michael. He is 37 and he's married with children. His drinking has started affecting his family and his job. He's been warned about being absent at work. He knows alcohol is causing problems, but he's still unsure if he's ready to quit. That shows he's in the contemplation stage, but he recognizes the problem and hasn't fully committed to change. So on the biological side, we've got the family history, raised tolerance, mild withdrawal, sleep disturbance, and fatigue. psychological, there's anxiety, stress. He drinks to cope. His family is impacted. And there's ambivalence to change. And then social, he's got marital conflicts. His kids have stated that he's not really around or he's irritable and his job is at risk, but he does have strong family support. So we did do the audit screener. He did get a 24 out of 40. So a score higher than 20 indicates that there's likely alcohol dependence. It reflects hazardous use with consequences across multiple areas of his life. And it results, they support that intervention is definitely warranted. And then for his diagnosis, we did come up with the alcohol use disorder. It's moderate. He does meet 4 to 5 areas of the criteria. So he drinks more over a long period of time. He has a persistent desire and unsuccessful efforts to cut down. He fails to meet major role requirements. He doesn't show up for his family. You know, he's messing up at work, and he continues despite interpersonal problems with his spouse and his family. All right, so applying the trans theoretical model. So we can see Michael moving toward the preparation stage because he started looking into treatment. He's talked with his wife and agreed to meet with a counselor. As a counselor, I would use motivational interviewing to help him work through his ambivalence, build confidence, and create a plan that fits his goals. And then for the treatment recommendations, we have come up with individual counseling, as well as family counseling, some AA meetings, SMART goals, and a recovery action plan, and a medical evaluation. And this is a worksheet that we came up with. So it's an example of how someone can start preparing for change. It helps them think about why they want to change, what's holding them back, and how confident they feel and what small step they can take first. Even small steps can help someone move toward lasting recovery. And these are our references. Thank you so much.
Thank you.